your family, comfort your husband, comfort your baby, and you as well. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father God. All right. I love you, sister. All right. Bye-bye.
So I have listened to this voicemail so many times, and I hate to be the person to like share my feelings, show weakness, but that was the last time I heard my brother. Because that day my mom left, she got a call from my sister that he passed away. Just like that. No time for anybody to hope and pray. He was in the gym and he passed away. And this is why I'm even doing this, because April 15th he called me. It was my husband's birthday. I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes. I was like, I'm gonna call it back. I told myself I was going to call him back after that call, after I was dealing with what I was dealing, but I guess God had other plans. I didn't find out till later because, my siblings were afraid that I was, gonna go into labor prematurely if I did know. But I had dreams that he was gone. For people that go through grief and people who are dealing with grief, because for the longest time, I had to keep it together, because when I found out I was close to labor, and I had to suppress all my feelings to not, it wasn't really called premature at that point because I was like 37 weeks, but I had to hold it and be strong. And for the longest time, I wasn't strong. I was dead inside. I was away from family. People think that after the funeral, you get some type of closure. You don't. And why am I even sharing this? This is a very personal thing for me. Mike was like a life coach to me, and he inspired me to get back and do this because, I got a hold of this one YouTube channel that was talking about you don't ever move on when you lose someone you love. You don't move on. You carry them with you. And this is a way for me to honor you, Mike, because you were a life coach. You were the type of person that believed in me so much. I would go back on Instagram and see those videos that messages you would leave me, like, I'm so proud of you. You inspire me. But no, you inspired me. I decided to celebrate your life every day, to live for what you weren't able to obtain. You had so much purpose. My brother had so much ambition. He was a life coach. He motivated people. And I find myself wanting to do this because I want to motivate people. I want to be authentic, and I don't want to be on social media if it doesn't make any sense, because for the longest time, I didn't want to do anything. I had my son, thank God, who forced me to not have a nervous breakdown. I didn't have the time to. So people would ask me, it's just like, I don't even have time to. Like, it's like you're dealing with mourning, but at the same time, you got this child who's like, I need my bottle. Like, make it happen. So, I pushed through, but I would like to leave a message. If someone is on YouTube and was like me and is searching for a message on dealing with grief, I want to share this with you guys. And number one is there's no time limit. People don't really understand. And if I'm completely honest myself, I didn't understand until it happened to me. But people just kind of get tired of hearing it. there's no time limit to mourn. It could take a year, it could take 5 years, it could take for the rest of your life. There's no time limit in mourning someone that you love. Take as much time as you freaking need. And for those who don't understand it, conserve your energy and don't share it with people that won't understand. Because honestly, unless that has happened to you, it is hard for you to understand. So kind of understand people, but at the same time, conserve your energy. The other thing I would say is accept the scars that come with this wound. For the longest time, I was trying to force myself to be okay. The truth is, when you get a wound, you have scars. And in this case, you have scars in your heart, and it's going to take your time, some time. So sis, bro, anyone who's listening to this, this is equality for all, this is non-biased, for anyone dealing with loss. Just accept it. Accept the fact that it's going to hurt. After a while, it doesn't hurt so bad. For the longest time, I didn't understand what was happening to me. I was in a state of inertia, and I came up with that word obviously when I was reading an audiobook for Wayne Dyer, because I was desperate. I was listening to podcasts, anything to encourage yourself, because it's hard when all your siblings are going through the same thing to get encouragement from them, because everyone is just dealing, I was depressed, and it's such a taboo in our community, especially dans la community, in the African community. It's no, pray, God will heal you. No, ma'am, you can have God and therapy. It's much needed. I was listening to audiobook. I was listening to this book talk about, how to deal with the loss of a sibling. It wasn't really helpful for me because it kept on just talking about the mournful situation. I know my brother would have wanted us to be, I don't want to say that he would want us to be strong, but I know that he would have wanted us to keep moving forward. He was such a motivational person, and he believed in me so much that I didn't want to make that situation, I didn't want life to happen to me. I wanted to make happen life through me. You know what I mean? Use the situation to honor him and celebrate him. So, I came across Wayne Dyer's book, Had to Be a No Limit Person. And they just kind of talked about the different stages that we go through in being stuck. And, going from a stage of inertia to coping to mastering. And right now I could say I'm coping, but it takes time. But you have to understand where you are. And like I said, take as much time as you are, but the key is to not allow your pain to immobilize you. There's nothing wrong with feeling the pain. Like I said, sometimes 50% sad, 50% happy. I said I had the best thing happen to me, having my baby, my child who was healthy. I had a great experience in the hospital, to the worst possible thing at the same time. My brother passing away. I was like, God, what the, what? It could have easily went south. I don't know how I made it, but I think my boy, I think maybe he was brought in exact same time, because I was like, he needs me. I need to be strong. But back to what I was saying, first thing is take as much time as you need. Second thing is 50%. You'll be 50% sad, 50% happy sometimes, and it's okay. And you can be happy. You can have happy moments, and you'll have shitty moments. Yeah, the next thing I would say is just be gentle with yourself, Like I said, don't be hard on yourself. Don't expect yourself to be this cherry person. Listen, I was out of social media. I'm still kind of out of social media. I just gave myself, I blacked out. I wasn't responding to people. I'm thankful. And you know what? The worst thing to really tell someone that's lost somebody, and I know people mean well, is, this was God's will. People saying it was God's plan, it was in God's will, or people saying you're still going through this, oh, she's moody. Sis, take your mother time. Like, take your time in dealing with this. There's, the fear of missing out and all that. Sometimes when I say be gentle with yourself, pay attention to your heart, pay attention to what you're feeling, which leads me to the next topic, mental awareness. I was depressed, and I have no shame in saying that. There's no taboo. There's levels to depression. There's like mental, when you're like needing pills. There's like psychotic, bipolar. There's levels to it. But I always feel like if you don't deal with the small things, it could really quickly get to the big things. And anxiety and depression is just basically a person not being able to cope with trauma, PTSD. Like you have a traumatic experience in your life and you just don't know how to cope. And this is, I'm not a therapist, not here to give any mental diagnosis to anybody. But if you are dealing with this, get a therapist, get a therapist if you can. Sometimes you can go to church and it works for you. If it does, yeah, great. But if it doesn't, sometimes you need to talk to someone that's not family, that's just there for you to listen and to pay attention to those red flags. I got in therapy. I would talk to my therapist like twice every 2 weeks, to the point where it was like monthly. And there's dark days and then there are happy days. I honestly feel like we don't know the power of our hearts. Our hearts can literally expand to being able to love this new being and mourn someone that you love at the same time. It's possible. The next thing I would really say is find something to live for. For me, it was my son. I'm thankful for my husband because he was very understanding. He didn't get it. Sometimes I was annoyed by him, but he was there. And to help me when I just needed a break from the baby and I just needed to cope. My son, my husband, my family, knowing that my parents are alive and I lived for them. I fought for them. So that's the other thing I would say. Find something to live for. Find something to fight for, because it can easily go south, honestly. The other thing is like find out what works for you. I mentioned therapy, prayer, church, fellowship, working out, perspective. I got into a marathon, but it was a little too ambitious, so a 5K, something that keeps your body moving. They usually say, it's hard to stay in a state of depression when you're in motion. So the key is to get into motion, some type of motion. Like I mentioned, it doesn't mean you ignore the pain. It's just you don't let the pain immobilize you. And trust me, that's harder to do than it is. Doing this channel, like I said, it's in honor of my brother. I'll be posting every time at 5:15 p.m. Why that? Because it's my brother's birthday. Any way that I can find to honor him. My sisters and I started this page on Instagram for lifestyle. He loved to work out, motivate, and invest in a youth. So it's called Fit Like Mike, because my brother was on point. If y'all know him, y'all know what I'm talking about. So y'all can find it on Instagram. It's fit.likemike. I got this tattoo of his birthday. Mama, I know you weren't into this, but this is the only way that I told myself every day to celebrate his life and that he could always be with me. So May 15th, 1985 was his birthday. So I choose to celebrate his life. The other thing I want to say is perspective. That's the perspective that gets me through. Instead of focusing on what I've lost, I choose to focus on his life, the memories. My brother's, the best memory I have with him is teaching me how to play soccer in high school, stuff like that. He had a contagious, laugh. He gave the best hugs, with his entire energy. And he knew how to make people feel good about themselves. And this is why I'm back and trying to motivate other people, because I want to be that type of person that's like, yo, sis, you have potential. And make you feel good about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he did for me. Other things like I would say is, yeah, talking about how great your loved one is to other people. You don't have to shut down. You don't have to be silent. You can keep his memory or their memory going. That's why people create entities in the name of their family members or loved ones, because their life continues to live forward with that. So that's what I would share with you guys. Honestly, it's been hard for me to get back on social media because I was like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be fake anymore. When stuff like this happens to you, it's like you just want to be your most authentic self and just keep it real. Like, it's okay to not be okay. But the key is to not let that immobilize you. People have survived it. And, I do this for my family. I do this for my brother. So, yeah, that's a little bit of that. Stay tuned for a series that I'm going to come up with that talks about, 5 steps on being a no limit person. And this is from when I had read out from my what's his name, Wayne Dyer, an audio that I was reading during my time, my mental, emotional breakdown moments, that basically talks about how to be a no limit person. Obviously, the title was very daring. When I read it, I was like, whoa, a little too ambitious. But what he talks about it is, not being limited by circumstances that happen to us in life. And he talks about the state of inertia, which is where you can find yourself in right now, where you just stuck. And it's going to take time, sis, bruh, homie, whatever, white people, black people, Dumont. It's going to take time, but don't let it immobilize you. So, yeah, stay tuned for the next series. I hope you liked it. And this is for you, Mike. So I found this. Well, I heard this from Oprah. Y'all know Oprah be the guru on these deep quotes. So I looked it up, and it was from Howard Thurman. And it says, ask yourself what makes you come alive and go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And I just thought that was like, ooh, for the moment. Because, when you have like things like this that happen to you, you struggle to come back alive. And if you've been this, you know what I'm saying. So then you kind of examine everything that you do, and you ask yourself what makes you come alive. And for me, inspiring and motivating others, because to get unstuck, I want to help women come alive. And if it's through my motivation, if it's through this video, if it's through my story, if you can say, if she did it, I can do it, then by all means, this matters. You know what I mean? Social media without a goal is like a low level of motivation, because you get caught up in, if you're watching this on, say, Instagram, because I probably will post it at some point. If your life is all gravy and perfect, perfectly curated, then keep scrolling, because this is for people that are imperfect. Master's Piece is about people with flaws that are aiming to master their own life, their own journeys, to basically take something that seems very messy and find hope in it. If this is not you, then by all means, just keep scrolling, because I want to help people that are passionate about pressing through. You help someone along the way. We're all having human experiences as humans. We all just, like I said, there's no taboo in going through depression or being stuck or feeling like you're not alive. Like, I had this conversation with some of my siblings, like, why do I feel this way? Like, it's okay, but I want, if anything, if I could have like motivated one person, especially my family members, to come alive, then my job would have been completed. So, I want to help people find some beauty in a messy situation, to go from a level of being immobilized and to come alive. And it's going to be a journey, but I'm also in a journey, and I want you guys to walk through this journey with me. So, yeah, that's the deep moment, y'all. That's the deep quote. But there's another quote. I'm sorry, last quote But it's very deep, I promise you. This is what it says, and it just inspired me because if you are alive, there's a purpose, right? It says the graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is there that you will find. I think this is by Les Brown, but he may have quoted somebody else, so I don't want somebody to be like, no, that's not actually, so whatever. I'm just saying, disclaimer. The graveyard is the richest place on earth because it is there that you will find all the hopes and dreams that were never fulfilled. The books that were never written, the songs that were never sung, the inventions that were never shared, the cures that were never discovered, all because someone was too afraid to take that first step. Keep with the problems or determined to carry out your dream. Imagine being on your deathbed and standing around you is the ghost of dreams. The ghost of the dreams, the ideas, the abilities, the talents given to you by life. That you, for whatever reason, you never went after your dream. You never acted on those ideas. You never used those talents. You never used those gifts. And there they are standing beside your deathbed saying, looking at you and saying, basically looking at you with large eyes and saying, large angry eyes, saying, we came to you and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. Les Brown again. I say this to basically say, come alive and fulfill your potential. What else do you have to lose? Tomorrow is not promised. So if you're listening to this out there, this is not just for those that have been through traumatic experiences, those who are finding themselves. You don't have anything to lose because tomorrow's not guaranteed. So don't get stuck in perfection. Focus on progress. Progress, not perfection. So that's it. Make sure you're staying tuned for my next series on the Master's Piece. I also have a podcast called The Master's Piece Podcast on all platforms, Spotify, Apple, Anchor. Make sure you follow because I will be posting on there as well for those who prefer audio. But those who prefer visual, this is why I'm doing this as well. So stay tuned, subscribe. You can find me on Instagram. I haven't been there lately, but you can catch me here on YouTube. But you can find me on Instagram at Elizabeth Kadesi is my Instagram name. And the brand Master's Piece is called Master's Piece with an S. So it's Masters, MASTRS PIEC on Instagram. So check out, the latest things coming up with this brand. And I hope you all will have the boldness to choose to come alive despite the oppositions on your life. So I'm gonna check y'all later, but I got to go now. I'm a little hot out here, but thanks for tuning in to your girl, and I'm back. I may post every 2 weeks, but I'll be back. I don't want to make any crafty promises yet. He's working on me. All right, guys. I will see you later. Bye.